Okay, this is wild. The woman you see on your left is obviously Erika Kirk. The guy in the middle is Yair Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu's son. The guy on the right is Tyler Bauer, the guy that Candace Owens claimed was having sexual relations with young male interns at TPUSA. What the is going on here?
But just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was.
It took time, but now the claims Candace Owens has been making about Erika's past are starting to raise more questions than answers. According to recent reports, the reason no one can clearly trace Erika's family background is not just coincidence. It is being framed as something intentional. Some are now pushing the idea that her identity was carefully shaped, even linking her to the powerful Rothschild family, suggesting she was positioned to move unnoticed within elite circles. These claims are serious, and while many dismiss them as speculation, they have not stopped people from looking closer at her behavior. Critics point out that her response after Charlie Kirk's death did not match what most would expect. Instead of a traditional grieving period, attention seemed to shift toward public appearances, merchandise, and turning the moment into something larger than life. There were even moments where she appeared disconnected from personal details, like important dates tied to her own family. And now, in the middle of all this, Erika has stepped into a powerful new role, accepting a position on the advisory board of the United States Air Force Academy. The board itself plays a serious role, offering recommendations to defense leadership on everything from morale to finances and academic standards. While Charlie's earlier appointment to the same board made sense given his political influence, Erika's sudden rise into that position has only fueled more suspicion, leaving many wondering who is backing her and how she moved into such a role so quickly.
Carl Kenneth Bronski, Erika Kirk's grandfather. I did not expect to find the information I found about him. Can you believe it's likely he was friends with and working with the people who ran the Manhattan Project? What was the Manhattan Project, you might ask? It was the single most secretive project during World War II that controlled all of our explosives.
Supporters of Turning Point USA argue there is nothing unusual about Erika stepping into the space Charlie Kirk left behind, saying it is natural for her to continue his work. But critics see it very differently. What raised eyebrows was how quickly everything seemed to transfer over to her. Instead of a slow transition or a search for new leadership, Erika suddenly appeared in roles tied directly to Charlie's influence, from public representation to political access, almost overnight. At the same time, she continues to lean heavily on Charlie's name, using it as a foundation for credibility. The question many keep asking is simple. How does someone with no real political background, known primarily for pageants and running, a clothing brand, suddenly move into positions that involve advising high-level officials? Even her appointment connected to the United States Department of Defense has people wondering what qualifications led her there. According to Candace Owens, this rapid rise is not about merit, but about connections, suggesting that Erika's position was always part of a larger plan, with Charlie's tragic death acting as the catalyst. Candace has also pointed to alleged military-linked ties through Erika's family, but claims that is only the surface. When people started digging into Erika's past, they found small details that only deepened the mystery. Old social media posts showed a woman named Nicole frequently appearing alongside Erika during her time in New York. At first, it looked like a close friendship, but a now-deleted post complicated things. In it, Nicole referred to herself as Erika's cousin, mentioning shared Jewish heritage within part of the family, even though Erika publicly identifies as Christian. Shortly after that post gained attention, it disappeared, and Nicole's social media activity was wiped clean, which only fueled more speculation. The situation became even more confusing when older posts resurfaced, showing Erika referring to a man named Alan Rothstein as her uncle, praising him publicly. Reports then linked him as Nicole's father, strengthening the idea that these connections were not casual. Critics argue that if these relationships were harmless, there would be no reason for posts to vanish or accounts to be scrubbed. Adding to the controversy, Past legal cases involving Alan Rothstein were brought back into discussion. According to filings, he had been accused of misusing his position in a company, allegedly selling internal information and contributing to its financial collapse. While none of this directly proves anything about Erika herself, the pattern of hidden connections, deleted posts, and resurfaced allegations has only made people more suspicious about how much of her background remains out of public view.
Alan Rothstein, Erika's uncle, may have been quite the sketchy guy. For Nano Dynamics, it looks like he was sued in bankruptcy court, and from what I'm told, in bankruptcy terms, when a trustee sues a director or a founder like Alan Rothstein, it is believed typically that that person may have taken money out of the company improperly before it collapsed. And then remember the company Innumerable, which he served on the board of directors. That was apparently a penny stock that traded on the OTC markets before also going bankrupt. And then there's this company Shazoom LLC, which if you remember is a business funding company. And based on my research, it seems like Shazoom LLC has almost zero footprint, no major client reviews, no press releases of funded deals, no industry presence. And for a quote-unquote business funding company to have no track record of funding businesses suggests it might be just a shell company, a vehicle used to move money around rather than conducting actual commerce.
His name has also been linked to multiple companies, including real estate firms and entities that many critics describe as shell companies. These businesses appear to have little to no online presence, no clear employee structure, and no obvious product or customer base. On paper, they exist, but beyond that, there is very little transparency. Now, to be clear, shell companies are not illegal by themselves, but they can be used to move money in ways that are difficult to track, which is why they often raise suspicion. What makes this situation more controversial is that Alan Rothstein is not the only figure being scrutinized. The Rothstein family name itself carries historical weight, most notably through Arnold Rothstein, a figure often associated with organized crime in early American history. Over time, that legacy has been tied to allegations ranging from financial manipulation to deeper criminal activity. Critics point out that connections between the Rothstein name and the Rothschild family only add to the intrigue, even though no direct proof has been publicly established linking these modern claims to those historical narratives.
It's rather strange then that Rothstein shares family ties to another family, another prominent Jewish family that has been the center of many theories for hundreds of years and has been involved in everything from currency manipulation to economic crashes and to assassinations and everything in between. And that family would be the Rothschilds. Indeed, I was rather surprised to see that the two families are related, and pretty directly, because all I had to do was scroll over to the side and boom, there.
Building on that, some commentators, including Candace Owens, argue that if Erika is connected to these families, it could explain how she was able to move so quickly through elite spaces without the usual barriers. They claim it might also explain her access to high-level networks and why her presence in certain environments seemed unusually smooth. However, this is where it becomes important to separate verified facts from speculation. Claims about Romanian trafficking networks, secret infiltration, or deliberate positioning inside elite circles have not been proven with credible evidence. Similarly, attempts to link Erika directly to Jeffrey Epstein's activities through modeling agencies or real estate connections rely heavily on unverified reports and online theories. There are also claims about her past involvement in pageantry, recruitment, and work with agencies like Next Model Management, alongside references to figures such as Faith Cates, but no credible public record confirms that Erika participated in or had knowledge of Epstein's crimes. The same applies to mentions of real estate firms like the Corcoran Group and individuals such as Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. While these names do appear in broader discussions around wealth, influence, and Epstein's network, there is no verified evidence directly tying Erika to wrongdoing through those connections. What is clear is that much of this narrative is built on patterns people believe they see rather than confirmed facts. When serious allegations are mixed with speculation, it can create a story that feels convincing, but is not supported by solid evidence. So while questions about Erika's background, rapid rise, and connections continue to circulate, it is important to approach these claims carefully and distinguish between what has been proven and what remains unverified.
We do then learn via Jeffrey Epstein's emails that the president of the Corcoran Group is actually Linda Rothschild, and Jeffrey Epstein is working directly for the Rothschilds. He himself is saying that Corcoran Real Estate Group is all over his emails, okay?
Right after getting her real estate license, Erika stepped into a role at the Corcoran Group, and that is where critics started raising eyebrows. This is not the kind of agency people casually walk into without a proven track record or major deals behind them. Yet Erika reportedly entered that space with little visible experience. What made it more questionable to some observers was the claim that there is no public record of her closing any major deals during her time there, while still remaining within the firm under the leadership of figures like Pamela Liebman. At the same time, names like Lynn Forrester de Rothschild keep getting pulled into broader discussions about elite networks and influence. Commentators like Candace Owens argue that this was not a typical career move, suggesting it may have been about access rather than real estate itself. However, there is no verified evidence proving that Erika used that position for any illegal activity or financial misconduct. Much of this narrative is built on interpretation and suspicion rather than confirmed facts.
Do then learn via Jeffrey Epstein's emails that the president of the Corcoran Group is actually Linda Rothschild, and Jeffrey Epstein is working directly for the Rothschilds. He himself is saying that Corcoran Real Estate Group is all over his emails, okay? It says it right there. Someone read a background on Linda Rothschild. It has all of her different names that she uses and also has her listed as the president of the Corcoran Group. What was Erika doing for the Corcoran Group? Who got her that job? Who recalls sitting with Erika for her real estate license? Do you do it online? I don't know. I'm ignorant about real estate license. I will say that. But I do know that there is a general understanding that if you want to move money, real estate is a very good way to do that.
Candace and others have also pushed a much bigger theory, claiming Erika's relationship with Charlie Kirk was not coincidental but strategic. According to this view, Erika's presence in his life aligned with the rise of Turning Point USA, which grew from a small student-focused group into a major political force influencing young audiences across the United States. These claims go further, suggesting her role was tied to shaping messaging, influence, and funding direction. Some even argue that shifts in Charlie's public stance on certain geopolitical issues created tension that made him a target. But this is where the narrative crosses firmly into speculation. There is no credible evidence supporting claims of assassination plots, hidden agendas tied to global families, or coordinated efforts to remove him. What can be said is that Erika's rapid rise in influence combined with unanswered questions about her background has fueled a wave of online theories. At the same time, those theories often connect unrelated dots and present them as a single coordinated plan without solid proof. It is one thing to question how someone gains power quickly. It is another to conclude that it must be part of a secret operation involving global networks. Right now, the conversation around Erika is being driven more by suspicion than verified information, and separating those two is what determines whether the story holds up or falls apart.